A young couple moved into a new home in a low-cost subdivision, designed particularly for young ones just starting off. Now, the very first morning, as they were eating their breakfast, the young wife noticed her neighbour hanging out the washing. She said to her husband, "That laundry's not very clean. I don't think they even know how to use their washing machine properly." Her husband just looked out of the kitchen window without actually saying anything. Now, every time that the neighbours hung out their clothes, this young wife would say just the same thing. Now, a few weeks went by and the wife was surprised one morning at breakfast to see some nice, clean clothes on the line. And so she called her husband and said, "Look, at last the neighbours have worked out how to wash their clothes properly. Someone must have shown them what they were doing wrong with their washing machine." Her husband replied, "Oh, I'm sorry, honey. I forgot to tell you that this morning, before you got out of bed, I cleaned our windows." Life's a bit like that, isn't it? What we notice when we're looking at other people depends upon the condition of the window that we're looking through. And I don't have to tell you that sometimes we have some dirt in the way and that affects what we see. Perhaps one of the best known and most quoted verses from the Sermon on the Mount is this, and I should add that's perhaps the most likely to be taken out of context as well. "Do not judge others, and you will not be judged." Matthew 7:1. Have you ever heard the phrase, "Don't judge me," as someone stepped over the line? You may even have used it. This verse is used to remind us that we should never judge others. But is this what Jesus actually said? Jesus taught to judge others, not to judge others rather, because with the judgment you use, so you will be judged. And with the measure that you use, so it will be measured to you. Matthew 7:2 says, "For you will be treated as you treat others. The standard you use in judging is the standard by which you will be judged." And why worry about a speck in your friend's eye when you have a log in your own? How can you think of saying to your friend, "Here, let me help you get rid of that speck in the eye," when you can't see past the log in your own eye? Hypocrite, Jesus said. First get rid of that log in your own eye, then you'll see well enough to deal with the speck in your friend's eye. Now this shows that Jesus is not speaking about right, godly judgments. Jesus is speaking about human judgments, unrighteous and unreasonable judgments. When we hear these words from Jesus, they should challenge us to be honest and to be fair with all of those around us. Do you want God to judge you fairly and mercifully? Then judge others fair and mercifully. Now the picture Jesus paints is of a person who sees everyone else's faults and problems without seeing his own. It's so easy to critique others without measuring ourselves by the very same standards. Jesus puts it so very well. You can see the speck or the splinter in some versions in someone else's eye. You're able to look closely at others and examine their lives along with all of their faults, even to the smallest of details. Oh, and of course, you point them out to them, but you don't notice the log in your own eye. What Jesus is talking about here is the imbalance. The measuring tool is just not right. It's so easy to put others down and then to justify ourselves through exactly the same thing. Have you ever done that? James warns in his letter, don't just listen to God's word. You must do what it says. Otherwise, you're only fooling yourselves. What is the solution? Look at yourselves before you look at others. Think about your own sin, your own shortcomings before you challenge anyone else with their faults. First, measure your own life by the same standards that you want to use on others. They're wise words from Jesus to you and to me, and worth thinking about. Have a fabulous week, and may God richly bless you.